Sure, there's so many factors to consider, and you do some serious looks at probability and uncertainty in here, but also young man watching baseball, loves beer, loves the Red Sox. The White Sox, the something Sox.
It was the Red Sox, yeah.
It was the Red Sox.
But it could have been the White Sox.
It could have been the White Sox. He loves the Red Sox. The Red Sox win. His wife thinks, yay, the Red Sox won. My husband's going to be so happy. I'm going to get him a beer. It's all going to be fun, and he's Mr. Glum. What was the extraneous factor?
Right, so in that case, the story was that, well, the Yankees also won that night, and they were in a pennant race with the Red Sox. So even though the Red Sox won, since the Yankees won too, that was still bad from the husband's point of view, and that's why he was still glum, and the poor wife had to suffer through it. But what that story, and throughout the book I have a lot of sort of stories to try to illustrate things, and what that is trying to illustrate is what's called chaos theory. And so chaos theory has to do with when there's sort of so many little factors involved that if any one of them changes, it can have a whole different outcome. So in the case of that husband, he said, you know, he had his favorite beer, he had his favorite meal, his favorite team won the game that night, but he still wasn't happy because of this tiny other thing that some whole other team lost. And it's related to things like a weather system. So one of the reasons it's so difficult to predict the weather and why the weathermen so often get it wrong is because it is what we call a chaotic system. That is, you can say, okay, it looks pretty clear now, there's no winds blowing in, but then some little reaction takes place with some little wind thing and some little water molecules, and somehow it starts swirling, and first thing you know, you have a rainstorm.
Sure.
Maybe the next day. And it's like that story of, you know, the butterfly flaps its wings in China, and then that makes a storm happen in Texas. And even though that story may be an exaggeration, but the idea that small effects can later have a big effect on the weather, that's a very important idea, and it applies to a lot of other things too.
Of course, and when the weather forecaster is wrong, we remember. When the weather forecaster is right, we totally don't care. Oh, good, right, sun. When he's wrong or she's wrong, we remember.
Yeah, so that's what we call a biased observation, right? So it's just like people, if they have superstitions or stereotypes, they're liable to believe that they're true because they only remember the times that they were true. And when they were false, well, let's just not think about that.
Do you play poker?
I play some poker with friends. I don't play on a serious level.
Do you win?
I'm a pretty good poker player. But on the other hand, I want to be careful not to say that I'm a poker expert because I don't want all the poker sharks coming after me. I just play for fun and for small stakes, and I think I understand the game pretty well, but there's a lot of aspects of poker, including, of course, psychological aspects as well as probability aspects. And, you know, I play some, but I don't take it that seriously, so I don't want to make any grand claims.
Poker face. Important,
that's
apparently.
Important, yeah, poker face.
But it's one of the factors. So when you're looking at stats and probabilities, how do you factor in poker face?
Well, yeah, it can be hard. So, I would think with poker, the way I think about it is, on the one hand, there's a lot of real probabilities, and that's, you know, the probability that I'll connect for that inside straight and so on. And those are very important, but they're things that don't translate that well into, you know, the movies and the showdown. So a lot of people get the impression that, oh, probability is all about, poker's all about, you know, being tough and, you know, intimidating the guy and stuff. And, well, the psychological aspect is a part of it, and it's hard to quantify that. But on the other hand, also the probabilities are very important. Anyone who's a serious poker player not only works on the psychology, but also works on the probabilities, as I explained.
Have you studied what the likelihood is we'll get rich in our lifetime?
Get rich from just anything at all? Well, it depends what you do, of course.
Like maybe the lotto?
Well, the probabilities of winning a lottery are extremely small. And in fact, the probability of winning a lottery jackpot is smaller than the probability that if you drive across town to buy a ticket, you'll be killed in an automobile accident on the way. So the chance of winning a jackpot is very, very small, and that's why I personally do not buy lottery tickets. But on the other hand, if you enjoy the thrill of it, then it's worth it anyway.
Well, coming up, as you know, is David Bach, and he's going to tell us how to start late, finish rich. So there is a way.
Well, that's investing. That's not lotteries.
That's not lotteries, exactly. So stay tuned, because maybe you can quit your day job. Who knows? I think you like your day job. You also do improv. You're a musician.
I do comedy and music, yeah.
With a Harvard PhD, you have to get rich, don't you?
Well, I'm doing okay.
Talk of the Town tonight.
Yeah, with Hal Wake, right?
Good. Robson Square, 7:30.
Yeah.
Struck by Lightning in the Curious World of Probabilities. I bet people don't fall asleep in your class.
Well, I hope not. Of course, I have to take an overnight flight back to Toronto and teach tomorrow, so I'm worried that I'm going to fall asleep in my class tomorrow.
Well, maybe. What's the chance of that? I don't know. We'll find out.
A little nervous.
Hey, nice to meet you.
Thank you very much.